साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। शांति शांति ओम शांति। समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु, समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु, समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु, समस्तसन्मङ्गलानि भवन्तु। तथास्तु। हरिः ओं तत्सत्। ब्रह्मार्पणमस्तु। तथास्तु। हरिं श्री साईश्वर अर्पणमस्तु। Sairam to all the devotees of Sai's person. And today, welcome to all of you for 28th Satsang online session. We will start with a few poems written by some devotees and then start the subject. And today's topic is Swami's management advice for our day-to-day life management. And one of some few poems I'm reading for about 3-4 minutes. There are a lot of meaning in that. Let us try to catch the meaning. Look for my feet, Swami says. Look for my feet. I leave my footprints always. I leave my footprints always. I have already paved the road for you. You don't have to create any road or path. I've already paved the road for you. Just follow my footprints. Just follow my footprints, and you will reach home surely and certainly. Think no thoughts but those of mine. Think no thoughts but those of mine. Say no words but those of mine. Say no words but those of mine. See no other than forms of mine. If at all you want to see and configure only my form. See no other forms except mine. Give love to all. Give love to all as they are all mine and I am there. For ages I have nurtured, loved and brought you up. For ages I have nurtured, loved and brought you up. My biggest need of all is to love you. Your ignorance of your true nature forces you to think you are an orphan, whereas you are never an orphan, always you are under my care. Even though I, as your mother and as your father, stand right beside you, you are going on searching for me in different places, in different quarters. You seem to choose this ignorance, but your suffering because of your ignorance has become my suffering. Because your suffering is suffering for me, become bigger suffering for me now. I have come to unfold your blindfold with which you have blinded yourself, and to remove this veil of ignorance, which seems to be your blanket of security. You seem to accept and embrace this cover of ignorance as your blanket of security. I have come to offer you a new warmth, a new and true security your true nature seeks. My arms surround you for your warmth and my love for you forever and ever. Do not waste your life. Do not waste your life in making arrangements and celebrations. Do not waste your life in making arrangements. For I have already made the necessary arrangements. You don't have to make any arrangements, for they have already been made by me. Use your time wisely instead to do prayers. not making arrangements and worship. Just use your time wisely to do prayers. And seeking me in all. You don't have to search me in different places. And seeking me in all. And in every living form, all the living creatures that you see, only have faith in my arrangements. Do not suspect, do not think whether Swami has made these arrangements or not. Only have faith in my arrangement and know that I am present and omnipresent. At all times, everywhere, I am omniscient, omnipotent. All you have to do is to just ask for my help. All you have to do is only to ask for my help. And I require no time to travel. Don't think, where is Swami? Will he be able to reach this place? How much time he needs? Don't bother about it. I require no time to travel to my devotees. My presence is certain anywhere. You may be doubting about my presence, but I am always with you. In fact, you thought of me. In fact, your very thought of me and my presence are both instantaneous. The moment a thought arises in your mind about Swami, Swami is already instantaneously present there. If there is to be any death, if there is to be any death, it must be those of your desires. Pray that your desires shall die. Don't weep and don't condole for that death. If there is to be any death, let it be those of your desires. I have taken a mortal form to make you realize that you are eternal. You will never die. Atma will never die. You are always eternal. Similarly, there are some other beautiful poems and quotes of which I would like to share here. And Swami has also said, the wise man is he who keeps his reason sharp and clear and sees things as they really are. No distorted vision. He listens to the advice which comes from with you, which comes from within you, saying, life, what is life? Swami says, life is a challenge. Meet it. Don't run away. Life is love. Life is love. Share it with everyone. Life is a dream. Realize it. Realizing a dream is your real goal. Life is a game. And when life is a game, play it well and win it. This is the real pilgrim's progress. This is the lion's march across the forest. We should be fearless, masterful, and victorious. And that's why life is a game, play it. Life is a challenge, meet it. Life is a dream, realize it. And therefore, Swami explains that all this is form of life and we have to make our life meaningful. And in this connection of life is a game, there's one more poem written by another devotee. Swami, he asked, teach me to love. How do I do? In my mouth, I prayed for houses with broad lawns, swimming pools, fancy cars, fame and security and knowledge, enviable by all. I wanted to become the richest person. I wanted all the wealth. I want all the, that was when in my youth days. But as I matured, I asked for peace and joy and the privilege of helping others in their search of truth or search for truth. Today, God, I have but one petition. Oh Lord, teach me to love. I don't know how to love. Indeed, it is my greatest and my only need now, I feel the desire to love and be loved. Not that love which I once deemed most fair, the love that sees a sufferer and longs to teach him to walk my own tried path. Now I ask for wider vision and the gift to know that your grace itself is love beyond compare. God, give me your grace. That suffering is only a word we use to describe the tug of war between your will and ours. We always think that whatever we wish to achieve should happen. We don't know what is your will. For the difference is between your will, which always persists, and my will or our wish, which can never succeed. Teach me, and precious Baba, to love you with such unadulterated faith that all the temptation in the world to help you to do your work is washed away. Please wash away all the temptations from me. Teach me the love that neither likes nor dislikes anything. No difference. I should like everything. There should be nothing like dislike or dislikes anything in all your universe. That love which feels no pride nor any shame, which does not waver when assailed by either praise or blame. That love which, though receiving no appreciation and no kind of commendation, no cooperation, still humbly serves. It doesn't require any appreciation by somebody to do service. It goes on humbly serving and serving. The love which casts out fear and asks for nothing, and knowing you are here. When you are here, why should we ask anybody for anything? Oh Swamiji, Sai Baba, Sai Ram, free me from all the desires. Say one. I should have one desire. That is, you should always be with me, and you should love me, and you should teach me to love. This is one of the other prayers. And all these things are going to be a supporting thing for our talk and also for our management of our life. There is one more poem which also says and gives directions toward management. Then, because when we accept life is a management course, and then we are all students of this universal management course of our life, and Swami is the manager, and we are asking Swami to guide us. Guide me, O Lord. The wrong turn, the mockery of misguided decision, the touch of imperfection. We are all having lot of imperfections and the pain of injury. I am always confused and I am scared. I came to you and stepped in your hall, knowing not what to do and what to think. For you offer me light. When I grow up in the dark, you make me enlightened. You are my tower of strength when I am frightened. When I got fear, you tell me, why fear when I am here? Guide, O Lord, the mind of mine, free from prejudice and from fears, to seek the best for all, to tread in the alleys of courage and love, and to see the difference and the unseen answers of life. May your gentle, loving smile light my path. May it enfold me from hesitation, uncertain and infinite. May not my will wander in the wilderness of thoughts, but wait for those droplets of perfection that your sacred love would shower. Teach me, Swami, to look with your eyes, clasp your hand, and take the decisions I need to make today And you help me in that. Bless them with humility. Bless my hands with humility, and my mind and my thoughts, and grant me wisdom, and lead me from darkness to the light, and lead me from darkness to light. This is one again a humble prayer, and we go on asking Swami for this kind of a sublime grace, and it will enable us to achieve certain things. And there is one more advice for persons to lead a proper life and develop in life. Dream, 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 dream. Dreams transform into thoughts, and thoughts result in action. And why we should do that? Because that what's called tree of life. And our life management is not an easy process. It is like a tree full of roots, full of branches, and full of creepers, full of flowers, full of fruits, and lot of things like a tree. That's why it's called tree of life. And in this, it says, God, you, the human race, God says, you, the human race, are the best of my creations. God created the human being as the best of his creation. And you will live and live. He has given us life, and give till you are united. He wants that all of us are united so that we gain the strength from that. And in happiness and pain, he says, be together, be united, both in happiness and your pain and suffering. My bliss will be born in you. Love is a continuum. Love is a continuum. That's the mission of humanity. You will see every day in the life. You will see every day in the life tree. You will learn and learn. Be a learner always. Be a student. And don't think you are a master. My best of creation, a human being. Let thou go on like this. Dream, dream, and achieve what you dream with your efforts and God's grace. These are all certain kind of injunctions, I would say, the management line. These injunctions have helped a lot of people to achieve their success. With this now, we will start today's topic. We'll continue further on that. Swami used to say that for any person to prosper and develop and make market improvement, he should possess three qualities or three attributes. This is to be even called as ask triangle, ASK, ask triangle. That is, one is the attitude and the aptitude. The second, the base, is the skills. And the other line is the knowledge. Therefore, a person should possess proper attitude and aptitude, and he has to hone up the skills, and he has to acquire the knowledge. If all this done properly, then what happens? He can develop in his life management process. And therefore, let us come to attitude. What is attitude? Many a times we say, somebody, when we see, we say he's a good person, but his attitude is different. Attitude is little varying. And attitude is the way you react to others, the way you react to situations. And therefore, this attitude, because sometimes you try to interpret and mix with only certain people, certain places you would like to go, you have a particular attitude. That's why today, in the industries also, when they are conducting induction training program, they ask for this attitudinal development process. For attitude, also if any, there sometimes becomes a habit, and you become attached to it, and it is difficult to detach you. And therefore, the attitude is something that to cultivate the right attitude, deviating from our earlier whatever attitudes we do, because it's a rigid thing. That's why we call it a rigid attitude. We should become flexible. And the aptitude. Aptitude is a kind of an interest that we develop on particular thing or a particular subject. And therefore, the aptitude many times is just because something we like, we develop an aptitude for that or a liking for that. And just because something we don't like, and we may not get the aptitude to learning. But the aptitude is actually a capacity to learn things, capacity to adjust, capacity to relearn. And therefore, this is an important thing and it has to be developed. Then the skills. Many a times we say we may not want a very qualified person, but we want a skillful person. The skill, apart from knowledge, knowledge is acquired from books. Skills is acquired through the workshop, through the work that you do, and through the physical training and the actual work that you are endowed with, like a welder, a fitter, smithy, carpentry, computer training, and many of these things. And therefore, these things as a construction worker, for it is developed skills. Skills can give a person a better job than bigger qualification sometimes. But if we have attitude, aptitude, and good skills, skills have to be learned, skills have to be practiced, and lot of training also required for skills development. Today they are giving lot of importance for the skills development, even in engineering colleges and management institutes. Knowledge. Knowledge, today we are in the knowledge era. We can't escape saying that I don't know this, I didn't know, or I don't want to know. There is no excuse. For knowledge era means that the knowledge itself becomes a gift to us. It's a gift from God, and we should not escape trying to know. That's why not to learn. That means the knowledge will not come by itself. In order that we get the knowledge we can learn from books or going to the classrooms and referring to various books, scriptures, and talking to the learned people. And knowledge is a daily kind of requirement. It is not that I have passed some degree, I have worked for some years in some place, and I know about it. So, or knowing is not knowledge. Knowing is a very small part or a fraction of the entire knowledge. For today, knowledge means a big ocean. Several hundreds and thousands of years. Also, we go on learning. We will not really know even a small fraction of the entire knowledge. Only God is the master of all the knowledge. And skills help you to do work to perfection. Swami always said, be skillful and become a perfectionist. And if there is no skill, Swami used to say, it kills you. No skills means it kills you. And knowledge is the power. And it's an unstealable asset. See, if anything else, money or you are carrying, cards you are carrying, some items or wealth you are carrying, people can come and steal it. It's unstealable. That means nobody can take it away from you. That's why knowledge is power, and knowledge makes people great in any place, any time. And then a few words of general advice is also, lot of us, apart from our knowledge and position and whatever we do, hardly we learn to smile. You see their frowned faces. They do a lot of hard work. They do very good work. They are very sincere. They are very humble. They are highly educated. But their faces lack smile. Because God, Swami says, just smile. Smile is not an obligation. Smile is an opportunity for you to thank God. And through your smile management, you can win people. That's why win friends. And you can go through in your management life also, or life management, in a very good way. And for smile. And here once more thing is, by smiling, if you think somebody will take favor from you. No. See, you can speak obligingly, because most of the times you may not be able to oblige others. But nothing prevents you from speaking obligingly. That is, speaking with a smile, speaking with a tender heart, speaking with humbleness, and it can win a lot of friends for us, and that is very important. kind of asset for us. It wins even your enemies. Many a time, not only it makes friends, even somebody who is a critic of you, and with your good smile management or speaking obligingly, then lot of good activities will happen. And also, there is one word called enemy and enemy. Because who are enemies, who are friends? Whoever comes and talks good of us, we always take them as friends. Whoever flatters us, who appreciates us. Somebody says that you are doing a good bhajan, you are doing a good talk, you are doing this good seva, then we feel they are our friends. If somebody comes and tells, oh, this is lacking there, this was not done properly, and that particular talk was not all right, oh, we feel, oh, they are our critics, they are our enemies. Oh, there's nothing like enemy, nothing like a friend. And don't have enmity, don't have enviness. Enviness is comparing yourself with somebody and feeling bad. And vanity. Vanity is like a pride. Vanity is like pride. That too, that's why many times we used to say the ladies used to carry what's called vanity bag. And Swami used to joke about that. Some people, when they come without bag, then they say, oh, you have left your vanity, or only bag you are left, or your vanity. For a vanity, pride, ostentation, that will have to live. And Swami also used to say, empty vessels make more sound. Because if somebody going on talking about something, maybe continuously without somebody asking them, then maybe the empty vessels make more sound, and sometimes it is not necessary. Let it be a kind of a answer to question, that whatever questions asked, let it be an answer for that. Let it be a solution for a problem. Humility, patience, tolerance, perseverance, confidence, courage, discrimination, decision making, discretion, and these are all qualities in our life management process. And we should learn each of these properly. Humility. Humility is being humble. Humble doesn't mean you are surrendering. Humble means behaving properly with respect to the elders and others, with so that they feel like talking to you. They feel like taking some kind of solution, advice from you. Patience. Many a times, as in the previous talk, Swami used to say, wait, wait, wait. Waiting for certain things to happen. Do your work, wait. Wait for the results. Patience. Patience at home. Patience with your family members. And patience with colleagues. Patience with other people in the neighborhood. Patience pays. Patience is an important ornament. Tolerance. Tolerate. Because apart from, along with patience, tolerate. You have to tolerate others. Somebody you may not like. Whatever the things they are doing, the way they are doing, it may upset you. There may be a distraction to you. Even then, tolerate. And tolerance is an important thing. Perseverance. Perseverance is continuously going on, doing, pursuing the thing with the same interest. Or if something has not succeeded in the first attempt, do it second time, third time, fourth time with more vigorous kind of interest and efforts. Therefore, it has to yield result when it is done properly. Going on persuading and going on persevering. Confidence. The confidence is our psychological note. Many times people say, if they're asked to sing a song, or if they're asked to talk, or if they're asked to do something, I don't have confidence. What is this confidence? Where it can be bought? It is not a buyable commodity in any commercial place. Therefore, it is to be acquired and it is to be practiced. And you will get confidence only when you start doing. Therefore, not to get confidence, you have to start doing and not wait the confidence to come to you and then you will do. Do it, start doing, confidence will creep in. And keep that confidence. That's what we call self-confidence. Self-confidence is an important thing. But again, because of confidence, don't have overconfidence. That means it is stepping out. Just because confidence means whatever something is not possible, that also if you go and try, that is taking kind of a risk. And that is overconfidence. So you have to understand what you can confidently do and what is stepping as a overconfidence, which you should try to avoid. Courage. Courage is a kind of a, not that you should go and fight with the animals or lion or something, but courage is to face things, face problem, face life, face the whatever situations, and You have to change ourselves to manage the situation as situation management practices. And discrimination. Many a time, what is right, what is wrong, what is to be done, what is not to be done, when it is to be done, when it is not to be done. These are all certain discrimination. This discrimination in our day-to-day life, our day-to-day work, it helps. Because many a time, just because you have done something just half an hour back, you try to do it again, but not in the proper situation or a proper time or a proper place, not with a proper customer. Then it may not be all right. So you have to discriminate what is to be done, how it is to be done, when it is to be done. Decision making. Decision making is a very important process in our life management, because many times not taking a decision is always, sometimes people think it is easy. If somebody asks something, they're telling, no, I am not yet decided. See, undecided or not decided is not the solution. And in a way, that also is a decision. Decision not to do anything is also a decision. But they are again undecided. For decision making requires a lot of knowledge about what decision to be taken, when it is to be taken, how much decision to be taken, and all these things helps us for administering, managing, whether it's a big organization, whether it was house, or whether it's a science center or a science organization. All this decision making is important. Then using discretion. Discretion is sometimes when you have got options, when you have got 2-3 way of doing certain things, what is the best way of doing it under the particular given moment, at that particular time, with the available funds, available resources, what is the best way of doing, using your proper discretion. Then many a times, a lot of people ask, give us some talk about leadership. What is leadership, leadership management? See, the thing is, everybody in their mind aspires to become a leader. Nobody would like to start as a kind of a follower or a junior. Everybody wants senior management positions. Everybody wants leader. Everybody wants to become the convener or the secretary or the president, the vice president, whatever it is, the bigger post. Now, because of this, what happens? Everybody assumes that he is a leader. For assuming leader as a leader is good. Because leadership is nobody's property. Everybody is a leader, can be a leader. But only thing is, a leadership quality also is, you can be a leader at some time, but you have to be a follower other times. That means when it is your portfolio of management, your kind of portfolio of the specialization, competitiveness, and you are competent in that, and then you can be a leader at that. In something else, you are not a leader. Somebody else is better. Somebody else is senior. Then allow him to become leader, you follow. And if somebody asks, by being a follower, because I do become less, or my status or my position will become less? No. Leader and follower are the same kind of positions that changes depending on situation. And therefore, leader also does the work for the team. Follower or the other colleagues also do the work for the team. That's why it's the team which matters, and all other things work with that. Again, when it is a kind of a team, means a team is to have kind of some ideas, and it has to have a members of the team, and then it has to travel, and then it has to have a desired goal or a vision or target to achieve. And all this implementation becomes the duty of the leader and the team. Therefore, if the team wins, the leader wins. Leader cannot win alone. If anybody thinks that leader gets all the credit, no. Leader of the team does get credit, but through the team. And if the team wins, he wins. And if he loses, team loses, he loses. Therefore, he has to take both the credit and the responsibility of the win and the loss. And over many a time, a leader means he should have such qualities where he can be a model to others. He can be an example to others. Before advising somebody, you should be able to have, you should have ability to do it. You should have done it previously, and you should have won those kind of situations and those problems you should have had solved. So he is a problem solver. A manager is not a man with age. Many a time we say we are a senior people. I should have become a manager. No, it is not with anything seniority in age or higher qualification. I'm a doctorate degree. I should be a leader or I should be a higher manager. More than that, it is your experience and your capability to handle situations. The capability matters a lot. And leading from front, that's why he should be able to lead the team. And he should say, yes, I will go first. You can so that he has to say the certain things and give confidence, morale booster, motivation, and he has to lead from the front. And therefore, leader also has to take calculated risks. Sometimes when a decision has to be taken, certain amount of what we call risk has to be taken. But a risk should not be the uncalculated risk. It should be a calculated, necessary risk at the particular time. That's why it covers what we call risk management process. And then in order to do this, to take a decision, we call what is required is an analysis. An analysis called SWOT analysis. The SWOT analysis in our management language we call weakness, opportunity, and threat. These are our perceptions. Because many a time before trying to do certain things, it could be in a war, it could be in the Prime Minister's office, it could be in the Defense Ministry, it could be in the IT companies, it could be in a small shop, doing small business, or even your own home. Now, whenever we plan to do things, any action to be taken, we have to make what we call the action analysis, action plan. And for the action plan to be done, you have to base it on proper SWOT analysis, strength. The strength is, first of all, do we have that strength to do certain things? Do we have the resources? Do we have the people? Do we have the knowledge? Do we have the expertise? Do we have the infrastructure? Therefore, this is one way of calculating your strength. And then the particular product with which you have to deal with, or a particular objective. And then if you have that so-called required strength with you, then next analysis is weakness analysis. Most of the time, we tell about our strength. Even it could be a small thing like bhajan singing, it could be a kind of satsang talk or seva adult thing. We always disregard and do not consider our weakness as weakness at all. Because we always think everything is our strength. Whatever you do is strong. Whatever you do is all right. And we never think and give attention to weakness. But weakness analysis is more important sometimes, or equally important as strength analysis. Because your weakness is strength for your opponents, for your enemies or your opponents, for somebody else who want to bring you down. They will have known your weaknesses, and that becomes their strength. And therefore, in the strength analysis, the weakness of the opponent becomes your strength. Opportunities. You should know, in order to do these things, whether the environment is proper, situation is proper, government policies are proper. For example, in the Corona time, doing a lot of proper things also was not right. And they had to put off the decision to some other date until the Corona eased and they lifted whatever this blockage and other things. And therefore, you have to wait for the opportunities. And sometimes the opportunities is not that goes on coming all the time. That's what they say, opportunities and luck calls on your door or knocks at your door only once or only few times. And unless you grab it at that time, then you become better and higher developed person. Therefore, if you think that other person has grown up better than you, it means he has grabbed the opportunity, you utilize that opportunity, converted into success. Whereas some of us would not have utilized that opportunity. And the threat, also threat analysis, while we are doing that particular work, how are we to reach that items there? How are we to travel? Whether that place is easy to travel, easy to reach in particular time, and what are all the restrictions in that area. It is like international business or any of such businesses also. Threat. That means what are all the various laws governing there? What are the tax structure? What are the penalties if you don't do it? All this threat analysis. And who are all your competitors? Because that also means your competitors. Who are all the people who are in the field, who are better than you, whom may not know, and all their kind of their actions. That is also a threat to you. That also should be analyzed. And once you analyze all these things properly, and then you can start taking a decision and you can start implementing it. And Swami used to say, whenever we start doing things, start early. Start early. Move continuously. Don't stop. When you start early, don't stop in the middle. Go on moving continuously, regularly, and until you reach a destination or reach your target. Because many a time, that is what is called an objective, a target, or a vision. Because many a times in the company, there what is called a vision statement, and also what is called mission statement. Because no company starts without a vision statement or a mission statement. And with an objective, they would have set up, whether it's a IT company, whether it's a services company, or whether it's a product company, it's a manufacturing unit, or whatever it is, whichever product the company and the corporates, they would have had what is called a practical target. And even for our life, in our day-to-day life also, some target of doing certain things in a time frame basis. Therefore, the time frame has to be fixed, and then the target has to be achieved. Until that, we should not stop, and until we reach the target or the destination. And therefore, Swami says the best way of doing it is start the day with love, fill the day, spend the day with love, fill the day with love, spend the day with love, and end the day with love. Because love becomes a kind of a tonic, and it becomes a kind of a catalyst, and it helps to achieve success. And therefore, love blossoms forth everywhere, and love and Swami's grace helps things happen faster. And this, while achieving things, as it was told, team building is an important thing. In team building, you have to have a selection, like cricket team or football team or any other sports. Similarly, even in companies, all that, what's our corporate team building? That you have to have proper selection of people, proper members of the team, and you have to give induction training to them. You have to give them enough practice, and you have to motivate them. Again, motivating is a big factor. Motivating is helping persons to come up gradually. Somebody may be a slow starter, slow learner. Somebody may be a fast runner, and somebody may be a better person already. Therefore, you will have to see that the other people are not left behind. You have to go on continuously motivating. Motivation is a very big topic in building the team and making lesser known people to achieve good success. And these are all what we call leadership traits. And the 2-3 minutes we will be stopping for today's topic. And leadership traits. Because to become a leader, because this again we will cover maybe in the next week also, because there is enough things and enough matter for leadership thing, which we will again continue in the next week session also. The leadership traits are people from the beginning, when they are students, when they are younger, you can see there are certain people who always go and occupy the front bench. There are always some set of people who always occupy the last bench or the bank bench and would like to abstain from the class the moment the teacher marks the attendance. And there are some people, even if they're asked to leave the class after the class is over, they'll be still occupying the front bench. They'll be asking more questions. They'll be wanting to know more things. And that's a kind of a leadership trait from the beginning. That people have that kind of thing to know more, to practice more. And that's a kind of a psychology. And therefore, this is a very important thing that has to come. And certain things in our life happens by chance, without our thinking, and as we had thought. And sometimes we say it's a coincidence. And that's why Swami says it is not a coincidence, it is Sai incidence. And similarly, when we say psychology, and for people who are Swami's devotees, it's called psychology. That means Sai helps us doing certain things properly, even though at sometimes we lack the confidence, we lack the strength, and we lack the knowledge and infrastructure and resources. Therefore, if you are a sincere Sai devotee and your intention is to do good to society, then Swami's what is called psychology helps. So if the intent is good, the intention is good, and the efforts are good, then result should be good. That's what God enables you with good results. Therefore, if you want good results, we have to do all these things. Like a farmer, if you want good fruits, good vegetables to be grown, he has to put good seeds, and he has to give good the soil. It has to be a proper soil, sort of fertilizers, and proper watering, fertilizing, pesticide control. All these things, if it is done, finally you may get a good fruit or a good yield and good benefits. And therefore, this is what happened. Therefore, this is what Swami always says. Press forward. With these, some of those small points of advice, we can make our life more meaningful. And life is for living. Life is just not for some more living. So degrees are for living, but education is for life, and our life God has granted to us to enjoy it and lead it successfully, properly, and usefully. So our life is more useful to everyone. Because Swami always had said, life is my message. And now he says, your life is my message. That means whatever way we manage our life now will be to please Swami and as per his dictates and commandment. With this, we are closing the topic for today. Sai Ram. Best wishes to everyone. Sai Ram. Sai Ram Praveen. Om Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Sanmangalani Bhavantu. Tatastu Hari Om Tatsat Brahmarpanamastu. Tatastu Hari Om Sai Ishwar Arpanamastu. Jai Sai Ram. Thank you, Praveen.
Sai Ram uncle. Praveen is not there. Vinod.
Okay, thank you, Vinod.
Okay.
And Sai Ram, and for let next week also, depending upon what the other speakers, so we can continue some more points. It's still not over. Still quite a lot of points are there, which can be continued next week also, depending upon who are the speakers. Preferable, if other speakers are also available, please request them, utilize their services. Thank you. Sai Ram. Sai Ram.
Okay.